Welcome back to Common Sense Rhode Island. I'm Representative Patricia Morgan, and I have with me today Mayor Scott Avedisian. And we've been talking about a new program that we've been working on for Warwick that will help people who are addicted break their addiction and hopefully live better lives because of it. And it's really because of his willingness and his leadership that we're going to have a pilot program here in Warwick. I'm excited about it. I think you are too, right?
Well, and Ian, when you look at the fact that we can bring Joanne McGonigal and Comprehensive Community Action to the table, you can bring, with their health center, Christine Harkins and Bridgemark to the table, and they do all sorts of addiction recovery services. Along with health professionals, the Department of Corrections, the Department of Health, everyone's saying, look, it may not work for everyone, but if it works for anyone, then it's a win.
And we're going to try it here,
right.
And see just how many people we can help. If we can help 10%, it's still better than we had.
Well, and I think that it comes back to the whole notion of the fact that we're losing over 100 people a year from this issue, and it doesn't seem to be rising to the level of moral outrage anymore. And it needs to. And we need to say it's. And when we first started talking about it, people would say, well, that's not the city's responsibility. You're right, it isn't. But we have to do something.
Well, and if we don't do something, there's a lot of broken lives out there that we're not helping.
And then it causes other societal issues that create bigger problems in our community.
And that's right.
People, it used to be that you could leave your car unlocked anywhere in this city and no one would ever touch it. $20 to an addict is a lot. Mm-hmm. And that means the difference between getting your next pill or whatever. And so $20 means a lot now. So the petty crime that we never used to see, we've seen an increase in that. And I think that's due to part of this. And we need to take some ownership of trying to bring about some solutions to the problem too.
Yeah. So just let's talk about a little bit about the drug treatment options. So everybody is aware of the word methadone. Sure. That's been a drug that's been around for a long time. It is an opioid itself.
Right.
But it's legal, and you go in and you get a prescription for it, or you go every so often and pick up your supply, and it keeps you from having to go to illegal drugs, I guess. And then there's another one just like that, which is Suboxone.
Right.
See, I've learned an awful lot here.
But you're just swapping a drug for a drug.
They're both opioids.
Right, it's a watered down version, but it still produces the same effect.
Not as powerful, not as dangerous, but still an opioid. So you have to constantly go back for another supply of it. What drew me to, when I learned about this, I went to a conference and actually learned about this, was that Vivitrol is not an opioid, and if you take a shot, which is a monthly shot, you can't get high anymore.
Right. And I think you had the best analogy, so why don't you tell people what it does?
All right. So if you're addicted, the receptors of your brain actually start needing the opioid. You take it the first couple of times, and then your receptors need it to feel normal. And what Vivitrol does is it comes and it just covers up those receptors. So now when you take the drug, or if you try to take the drug, it doesn't get through.
Right.
And you can't get high anymore. So if you can't get high, why take it?
And you actually feel sick.
And you feel sick, that's right. You'll get nauseous, and it won't kill you, but you're not going to like it.
The only downside to the Vivitrol program is that you have to be opioid free to start. So, which is why the partnership with the Department of Corrections is so important. If we can get someone who is incarcerated taking Vivitrol while they're incarcerated, when they get to our reentry council,
they've already got the shot.
Yep, we're 10 steps ahead.
And I'll be honest with you, on the meeting that you invited me to go to, there was a gentleman there, and he came up to me after. He had been an addict for 22 years, and he got the very first Vivitrol shot at the ACI, and he was thrilled because he hated his life.
And now he can be in control again.
That's right. He has hope that he can break that addiction and move on and have a better life. And he was so excited about it, and he wanted to come up and tell me.
And that's what this is all about. It's another option that for some people it won't work.
Yeah, but the statistics are, now, so it's used in about 35 states already, and a lot of times it has started in their prisons because of that very fact that you have to be opioid free before you can take the shot. So it started in the prisons, but it's like 54%, as I recall, 54%
Successful.
effective,
Right.
right? That people then break their addiction, not that they go on to methadone for the rest of their
Right.
lives, but they break it.
Well, and that's
And
the
within
whole-
months.
and that's the key, is that we already have a number of things that we can offer people, so why not, have a larger
whole battery.
toolbox?
Mhm.
So to say, okay, now, for someone who knows that this is a real problem for them, and they've tried all these other things, here's one more option to try. And if we can keep families intact or get them reunited, because we can get someone on Vivitrol and not necessarily, in a program that they failed at before, then it's all worth it.
That's
And
right.
It's another option for us to use. And again, the damage to society from so many people being out of work and out of school and
Altered.
yeah, because of these addiction issues is all of that has a cumulative effect that kind of wears down a community.
It does. It does. Like you say, prisons are expensive. Police forces having to respond to all kinds of petty crime,
Yep.
breaking and entering, worse crime, the victims of those crimes,
Sure.
the children
Children.
who are victimized or victims of it because their parent isn't really with them.
Or
not
dads-
just in prison, but
Right.
not really working at the height of their
Sure.
abilities, using family dollars or
Right.
whatever. It's hard.
You can see it in our truancy court. When we go into truancy court and you see a family that's dealing with addiction issues, and you see the toll it takes. It starts with mom or dad doesn't come home all the time. Before you know it, the kids aren't going to school. Everything starts to break down, and so the impact that this program could have in keeping those families intact and keeping our kids going to school and being engaged in our community, that they're all good things. This
Yeah.
whole notion of we have a brand new superintendent that started in September, talking with him about, we have a number of kids who leave our high school every year and end up getting their GED. Now, it's great that they're getting their GED. Well, but they're giving us a signal that there's something that's
Something is
not
wrong.
happy, that they're not happy with in the school system. So why can't we figure out a way to keep that kid enrolled and doing their coursework online, to keep that kid with us instead of always being separated from us? So the same type of thing, if we can keep the family intact, or we can put that family back together, it's going to be better for the community, for the state, and for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are supports. We're going to kind of wrap this up, but I wanted to let everybody know that on Wednesday, July 20th, at 6 p.m. at the Crown Plaza here in Warwick, there's going to be a forum, and there will be healthcare professionals there. Doctor will be talking about Vivitrol and how it works. I mean, because you do have to have some talk therapy with it. They hook up peer counselors, so people have had addictions, to help you. So please come. Please come if you know anybody who is addicted or might just want the information so you can spread it in your community and help. It is Wednesday, July 20th at 6 p.m. I'd really like to see lives be redeemed. What we have, is it working? Maybe this is one of the pieces that will help. Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.